What's going on, everyone, and welcome. If you're like me, you have been playing with polls, or no, playing with the polls. Sorry, this is a PG channel. My bad. Recently, the polls and the Bohemians were introduced to Age of Empires 2 with a new expansion. Kind of caught me off guard, to be honest. I mean, I knew that expansion was coming, and I did have a date well ahead of time, but still, like a couple months back when I heard about it, I was like, what? Yeah, we're a bunch of boomers, man. This is an old game. I'm not used to the new stuff. I was a little alarmed and a little scared, to be honest, because I wasn't completely a fan of how the other expansion, the other somewhat recent expansion with the Burgundians and Sicilians was rolled out. Notably, the Sicilians. I think the Burgundians are in an okay state right now. So anyways, these new civs came out, and I've been playing with them, casting with them, and I am eventually going to roll out videos where I talk about it. If you know me, not only do I like to show you good games, but I like really cool bonuses. And I want to show you practical examples of how the civs can be used or not used and talk about it. So I actually played this game just the other day, and there's the devs love to add new civs, but what the devs haven't fixed is the fact that I cannot download recorded games after a certain period of time on profiles. It's weird. Like, there's a couple games from a week ago. It says I should be able to download it, but it just disappear, right? I've complained about that. I don't know if it'll be fixed. But anyways, I was going through what games I could download with the polls, and I was like, you know what? This is actually a pretty interesting one. So I said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's upload it to YouTube. Let's talk about it, and I'll have plenty more. And yeah, hopefully, I can promise you there's going to be some crazy ones with every single bonus that the polls have. Now, I'm playing up against Rhythm. Now, Rhythm is known as Cyclops, so I'm going to call this player Cyclops throughout this game, most likely. The Turkish player who actually was one of the best players in 2005. He's a really good player, and he's 2K2, so he's 2200 ranking, and I'm 2200 ranking as well. I think he's like slightly better than me. I think he wins about 60% of the games we play against each other, but we haven't played each other too much recently. But anyways, he's playing as the Portuguese, a civ I'm not going to talk about too much. What we are looking at here is the new Arabia. So it's really open on the front, and we both have some exposed areas. I mean, notably, my biggest issue was going to be the berries. But right now, as I'm going to be pushing in these zebras, I wanted to get as much food as possible because I thought that poles would be a really good scout civ. I'm just going to show you the bonuses on your screen real quick, just in case you don't know, just in case you're on the fence about buying the expansion. Or maybe you did buy it, but you don't have time because you're being an adult or something. What is that, right? Anyways, there you have it. The big thing that this civ is going to utilize and I'm going to focus on is really the economy. Now, units are going to matter, but I think what makes this civ unique is the eco. The fact that that full work exists, and I'm going to eventually place one next to the berries here, and making farms around that gives you 10% of the food for that farm right away. That's quite nice. That can give you a little food boost in Feudal, and it gets even crazier throughout the rest of the game. Of course, the unique techs as well, privileges, and the legacy upgrades there, they could be cool too. But anywho, team bonus is not too bad. My game plan was actually not to go for scouts like I just said, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't deceive you here. The reason for that is because I felt it was a little predictable, because Poles love their farms around the full work. They love their scouts. I didn't want to be predictable, and I kind of expected that he was going to go for Man-at-Arms. And I don't know about you, but if you've been playing on the new Arabia, I've had real issues locking down exposed areas on the front when Man-at-Arms come in. So going scouts is exciting. Going scouts is fun in the mid-game, but I was worried. So I figured, what's the best way to defend for Man-at-Arms? Well, it's either walls into archers, which takes time, and it's hard to wall this map, so just make your own Man-at-Arms. So we're actually doing very similar things here. It looks like, I don't know how this happened, actually. Somehow he had 1 second of TC idle time, and I didn't. And yet he's going to be faster to Feudal Age. I got to rack my brain about that one. But anyways, we're going up with the same build orders for the most part. And I'm able to scout that he's going for the barracks, and he has, I believe, done the same. Yep, he's done the exact same. Really important, guys, that you have your scout in the front, and you know what the opponent's going for, and he even confirms them on gold right there, which, very good stuff for him. So my game plan was, we're going to track this in, we're going to take an engagement, and my game plan was also to make 4 militia now. I think sometimes on more closed maps, you can just make 3 and trade off and then go into archers, but If you can engage with that 4th militia and your scout, it's sometimes enough to only lose 1 unit and still have 3 men-at-arms remaining. So now this was really frustrating, and this is a common problem for me, guys. I'm doing all the right things, okay? But look at that. He sneaks around here. So I'm like, wait a second. Where did he go? Where did he go? I'm looking. I know that he's probably left. So now I think, okay, he's coming to my base. So now I'm looking for him. And now he knows I haven't moved out yet. This is a really frustrating time for me. Again, still not sure how he's able to be faster to the next stage like that. That's really weird. But anyways, you guys probably figured it out already. And trust me, we're going to talk a lot about Poles and where their strengths are. But I really don't think their strength is in Dark Age. And Portuguese are actually a little stronger right now because their units do cost a little less gold. And we're going to see archer range for Cyclops. Really good follow-up. Of course, I'm going to try and do the same. And I do have man-at-arms, and I do have 4 in here, but I have no clue where he's at. Now, I'm checking. I walled in my berries, and I'm checking. I'm like, okay, this is my only exposed area. Let's make sure we have a scout here. I don't see him, so I've done the right thing in my view. Now, his scout's a little stronger, so I can't go out here and attack this. But now his scout's over here, and this is such a good bait from him. He's going to attack here, so I'm thinking, okay, he's going to bring his units in, but I don't want to just use my units at home because I can't just wait for this. And guess what? He shows up on the right side. Really smart thinking from Cyclops, really baited me out there. And now as I'm halfway across the map, I'm like, no, what happened, you know? And so I had to just make a decision. Do I run forward and possibly run into archers, or do I run home? And the answer, which I believe is the correct move, is to just run home. Now, you notice this. I'm placing this farm next to the Folwark. I think you really have to adapt how you play the Poles so you can utilize their bonuses. I take a good fight with the man-at-arms at least, but he is getting some good hits on my archer, which will hurt if he kills that, because the mid-game is going to be all about ranged units. So yeah, I'm trying to get the farms up next to this thing, but it's also forward, which really sucks. And this is what you could consider a good fight for me, but it's actually, I think, a slightly better for the enemy because he was able to take out an archer. Now my 2 men-at-arms are not going to scale too well throughout the rest of the game. And I mean, if you ask me, I feel like Cyclops has outplayed me so far in this one. Even kills my scout there, and his remains on 2 HP. So now I don't even have an auto scout. But I was a little frustrated, I think, with how this game had gone. You know, I felt like I kind of prepared properly, and then I still ended up falling behind in ways I didn't want to fall behind. Then he paused. He was complaining about the birds. The new patch brought in new noises, and I'm with him. It is annoying. But here I come with my crazy counterattack, and Cyclops has only archers. And I'm like, I've got to track this now as well. Now, I delayed my blacksmith because I wanted to make a lot of farms. And I think it's key that I did this because those farms gave me a little bit of a boost. Because I made the men-at-arms, but I also am going to be making some skirms here. Skirms do cost food. So if you're going men-at-arms skirm, you're going to have a later castle age time than the opponent. But you might have the units to be able to trade against the archers, which is really strong. Cyclops is just straight up playing this very clean. I mean, he's going to sneak some archers in to try and do some eco damage. He's walling up behind this, and he's eventually thinking about castle age. And, you know, for me, this was the risk of having my berries forward and utilizing this area like I have. The Folwark is very exposed. I should not be farming here with any other civ, but with Poles, I'm giving it a shot. And I end up losing this villager, which I was a little like, really? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Little sloppy stuff here. I was just making sure. Cyclops, you've probably noticed it, is a very sneaky player. Very good with sneaking into your base or around your base. So I guess I had just built that with 3 villagers for that reason. And so I'm still on 1 range. I'm still making farms around this. Now, I didn't get horse color, but horse color is not something you're normally able to afford off a man-at-arm build, which is why I didn't do it. I even started chopping the straggler because I was thinking about placing the farm here. But that I realized that wouldn't be close enough to the Folwark to really count. And yeah, it's nothing exciting right now. Nothing that really screams, oh, Poles are amazing. Right now, I've gone to gold like any other civ would go to gold for archers and skirmishers. And I am still in the midst of trying to figure this out as I'm playing this game, right? This is like my 2nd game with Poles. Maybe it was my 3rd game with Poles. But anyways, I'm kind of on to Cyclops' tricks now. I understand. I mean, I could have been a little better with how I controlled my units there. I understand what he's up to. And what I'm expecting is
Yay.
for him to be in Castle Age a little faster than me and probably go for Knights. Makes a whole lot of sense. And I love how he's constantly queuing archers. I love how he has the stable already. I love how he's walling. I mean, let me be clear. I love it as a caster, casting after the fact. This is too good for me to deal with right now when I'm playing. But yeah, I think he's doing everything right. So these skirmishers, I didn't want to peel all of them away because I know Cyclops likes to sneak in other groups. Cyclops is really controlling the game right now. So these skirms are going to chase down that archer. And I was half expecting a scout to show up. I mean, that would be really strong, right? Just one scout. Or even if he had like 3 scouts here. Those other archers could take all this away from me if that were to be the case. And so anyways, he clicks up to Castle Age faster. Now, this is something I'm really trying to improve in my game. The problem is when I play, I'm just like, I'm not really playing to improve, right? I spend so much time with commentary and content. And I would really like to be 2K3. Like, I'm like on the brink. I'm always, my best days, I'm like top 70. But normally I'm like top 100. I'd really like to be in that middle chunk of the top 100, even on my worst days. And I'm thinking maybe like, you know, improving the decision making. That's still an option for me. But this is the thing. Like, I think if I were in his position, I probably would wait to move out with my army, because how many times do you see someone lose their army before they go up to the next stage? I mean, if I found that with my skirms, it's dead. But he's sneaky. He's real sneaky. So he's going to go back here. Both my wood lines are here. And so I'm starting to wall up because I am expecting him to possibly make some knights. And guys, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, do I play this like Huns? Anyways, I knew I was behind. So I said, okay, since I'm behind, let's make a lot of military. And let's not focus on eco just yet. And here I am with the skirmishers. I see the stable. So I know that these skirms are probably going to die. And I'm just waiting on the hill. So the good thing about mixing in archers for my position is the natural switch when he sees skirms is to make knights. Now we'll have archers, which will be crossbowmen, and they'll be okay here. But yeah, I had no clue he was over here. And I actually should have paid attention when we were watching this. Maybe I could have caught a glimpse, but was mainly focused here. I think at this point, he hits Castle Age. I was expecting him to even be a little faster, the Castle Age, but he did wall a lot. And he's going to take some map control. He's going to pack a punch with his attack, and he's adding a second town center. So this is kind of like that meta approach. Upgrade your military, fight, and expand your eco. Here I am. This is my point of view. Could have reacted faster, but the attack noise came in and thankfully didn't lose an additional vill. Little lucky there, but both my wood lines can be ranged. And now I'm in a rough spot because I know he's got an army here. It's not that much. So I had to kind of like figure out how much I pull back here to deal with this and how much I send forward at the same time. And if you look at the minimap, he's also going for the third TC. So then he paused again. The pauses really hurt me because he's attacking my wood line presently. And I was just about to react, and I'm going to blame that villager on the pause and that phone call. But anyways, I'm taking some of this army back to deal with this. And I also know that he's going to be coming out across the middle. And so I'm scatterbrained. But guys, stylistically, you always have to remember if you're behind, prioritize military. It's very important. I think, granted, it does depend on some situations, but while we haven't really seen me utilize any real pull bonuses yet, because I quite honestly never really felt like I was in a position to. The Cyclops has played so good. That's at least the one thing I've done right here is focus on the military. Now, he's sneaky, so I'm waiting for him. I thought maybe he'd run to the corner and come back. I'm glad he showed himself here, because I'm trying to deal with this here. And look at the time he's buying himself. He's a TC, TC, TC. Already a 6 villager lead, but he did not expect my crossbows there. I will clear this, and this is an opportunity for me right now. Okay, so polls. As I had to quake wall this because of a freaking knight, which was super annoying. The polls, they love their food eco around the folwarks. Not yet in a position to utilize that. My stones are exposed, but if you mine stone, you also get some gold. And there's a lot I want to talk about when it comes to that, but my eco is a disaster. I'm basically a low elo legend at this point of this game. And there we go. Villagers fight back. The horror, but it works out. I just needed the knight to sit there for a bit. Okay, so what Cyclops did a really good job of was controlling the game with his military. And now he just lost some military and he has an eco lead. So now The only way I come back into this game, and by the way, there was a hole between here. Let me show you this. I mean, to make matters even worse, right? He doesn't even have many upgrades on the knights. There's somehow a hole there. And so he's able to get free damage into my eco again because of that hole. That was a very frustrating one. So, you know, just passing into my eco, I have to deal with that. But anyways, it's really important for me to control the fights. Because if you're behind an eco, you're looking to catch up, or you just want to send another attack, so you need to make sure they're reacting to you. So I've been reacting most of this game. And so now I have to do what I can. And I forced him off that wood line, which is good. But really, this was kind of like a distraction army. This was so frustrating. I'm going to lose more eco to this. I've lost 3 villagers already in this game. I'm 15 behind. Going to lose more. But yeah, so actually what I've been working on is trying to move this army. But as I see the Mangonel and the crossbows are here, I also have this army. So kind of like 3 things going on. And it looks like my patrol and crossbows finally killed the knights. That's not pretty. And these crossbows keep moving around. And I actually want to credit Tato for kind of how I'm going to utilize my ranged units in this game. The Cyclops had an army forward. Cyclops had to deal with this. And Cyclops, I think, either didn't notice or just didn't get his units over here yet. And so, yeah, as I fall behind in villagers, I'm now like, okay, let's get some kills. And I'm going to do that now. And you can see the overall KD is actually really close. Now, I want to pause. And I want to talk specifically about this choice here. Because I think in the moment I added it, and I also felt like it was a mistake, but I said, screw it, let's see how it goes. So, this is where my mind starts to think, what do I do with this Civ? I have to play this Civ uniquely. Because I've been playing this like a generic Civ so far. Okay, so the big thing is, holes will, when they mine stone, are going to also bring in some gold. Now, I have 14 on gold currently. Granted, if I keep all of these archer ranges working, 12 is, I think, what I need for that. So that's not too far off what I need. But sending additional villagers to stone means additional gold income, and that means an economy which is not really balanced, in my opinion. I think the second TC being on wood makes a lot more sense with this Civ. The beauty of this Civ is you actually don't need to have a lot on gold, typically. Now, I think at some point, and we'll talk about it, but I think at some point I realized, villagers on stone, 14 on gold, let's maybe get these more on wood. And you got to think about the food eco with this Civ. So anyways, a lot's going on. I know I'm behind. I've seen a TC here and here. So I just wanted to slap one of those down. And so now I just want to be as annoying as possible, knowing that a Mangonel is probably going to come. So I know Mangonel is probably on the way. So I'm going to do what I can with this army. And I've decided now to add a stable so I could maybe pick off the Mangonels on the front. It was very important that I continue to force fights, but it's also very dangerous because, well, I mean, I could lose both of these armies to Mangonels, and they're not cheap either. I was able to get some Vil kills, and I'm happy with that. He's got a lot of vital time. I'm happy with that, but now I'm just like, what to do. Granted, I do have to look back at my economy every now and then. I see that Mangonel. That's a problem for me. I see these. Or I knew a Mangonel might come out of here. I do not have good food eco. And look at my gold count. This is what I mean. I have so much gold now. So I think these villagers mining stone, granted, I'm doing the right thing to pull these villagers off of stone and farm here as opposed to elsewhere. I think that was a mistake. Could be in a better spot. You've got to think about that with the poles. Now, stone is good because I could drop defensive or forward castles or whatever, depending on how this goes. So that's good. Because I'm trying to dance around 2 Mangonels, and that's not really my specialty. But I knew that if I just kept this army alive as long as possible, it would buy time for this army. And here I go with very weak crossbows, 93 HP, little splitterooskies. I like it. I like it. I'm running. I mean, just the time is good. It's very Tato-esque. Especially in team games, Tato's good at that. Now, I was thinking I was doing a beastly thing by adding the knight. But check this out. I'm microing this army and killing a Vil. And then I lost half of this army. And the knight does take in a Mangonel, but I don't click it after that one. He gets a hit in on me. It's just a lot of crap happening right now. But I was able to break through. And the good news is there's been no blue at my base. So that's the good news. I think this knight would have been better served going in after more siege. I don't know why. I started to switch in cav archers. I don't know why I sent the cav archers there beyond the fact that this game is difficult. So Now I'm kind of trapped, which is an issue. There's mangonels everywhere. A big headshot for not Casva, sorry, for Cyclops. And, you know, again, not too pleased with how little I've been able to do, but I'm controlling the game. So, you'll notice I went for a TC up here now. So this is just now adding 3 TCs. And guys, I really think that I still am not playing the Civ properly. Look at how I'm building the farms. I'm building it around the TC like any other Civ. And I'm making houses when I need houses. I think I should be making full works, which give you house pop space. And I should be making farms around that. Because at this point, especially with the farm upgrades in, you're getting 10% of the farm's food every time you place a farm next to a full work. I have 1 full work. Absolutely criminal. Absolutely criminal. And what else is interesting, and obviously I've done a lot of thinking about this, is I'm still trying to move in with multiple armies. I actually need to pause for this moment. Another thing that I did, I believe, in this game, that is a mistake, is I placed farms, like I extended the farms here, and I think, okay, I'll make a mill soon after I micro a little bit. But that's bad, because if you already pre-build the farms, you're not utilizing that bonus from poles. So anyways, I didn't even know, like, I think they lack the final armor upgrade on their Cav Archers. I don't even know if they get Parthian. I think they probably do. But I knew they got Bloodlines, and I knew I needed mobility because the crossbows weren't cutting it. So that's why I added the Cav Archers. I wasn't really planning on going Cav Archers long term. I don't know where these villagers are going. Oh, yes, I do, actually. I remember now. There's still a hole there. I'm still adding farms that aren't around full works, which is such a big mistake. Trust me, there will be other YouTube uploads where people have been utilizing the bonus, which is really cool. And trust me, it clicks at some point for me as well in this game, but just not yet. It's just frustrating to see. I'm sure you guys are like, come on. Like, you're not playing poles. You're playing any other Civ right now. But yeah, I felt like he was ahead. I knew that he's not spending food on anything except villagers. So I figured he's probably going to be imping soon, and Arbalest would be terrifying for me. So it's all about holding and taking position. And so now I feel as though my eco balance is really looking good. So I say the balance is looking good for this reason. I have 6 on gold, 3 on stone, and a little bit more going to stone. But look at my gold count. Even with all the crossbows I made, even with all the Cav Archers, because poles have all these unique ways of getting gold, this has worked out so well for me. And look, my food eco is looking great. Now, if your food eco is looking great because you don't need as many villagers on gold because you get gold when you mine stone, that leans towards their Hussar unit, which was eventually what I wanted to try out here. This was a little fortunate for me. He's trying to house wall this, but I know he's going to try and get to my base. So again, I'm trying to distract, trying to control. As I click up to the Imperial Age, he's 30 seconds away. This army is not an army I'm looking to upgrade. I'm going to add a TC here with 1 villager. What in the world? Okay. Still only 1 full work, which is criminal. Now, the unique unit for poles is the Obuk. It seems pretty good against Cav, pretty good against infantry. In fact, pretty OP in those situations, and I'll show you a YouTube upload with that at some point. I think there's a cool arena game I'm going to show you. But anyways, you know, that was not the unit that I would want to go for here. Now, I did see... Most of this game, I've realized I was behind, and I kind of thought I was dead. But I saw his crossbows, and I was like, that's good. And he tried to house wall me. But you notice how much time I'm buying myself. So now I've got 36 on food. I'm getting armor. And the poles do not get the final armor upgrade for their Cav, which is a really important thing to note because that's such an important upgrade when up against archers. But, you know, I'm starting to add more stables. I'm getting the husbandry upgrade. I'm thinking about going for those hussars. And now I want to point this out. Is watch my food spike. Now, granted, I've got like 30-some farmers. I'm spending a lot of food. But I do start to add full works finally. And when I get the farms down around this thing, the food starts to spike a little bit. Now, okay, this whole game has really been about control or lack of control. The first half of the game, he had control. Second half of the game, I had control because of how I was moving my armies. And I think that's a really important point because right here, the Portuguese are clearly a civilization where they're trying to force fights. They're like, if you are near me, I'm going to own you with my crossbow, soon to be Arbalest. He hasn't clicked yet. But that's not really where poles shine. Poles are like a hit and run annoying civ. They're kind of like, you know how Khmer make a lot of farms in different areas of the map. Here we go. Watch my food count spike soon. That's kind of how polls are. Except almost always almost on steroids because of the cool text if you're able to get there. But anyways, I did get my second farm upgrade, which means 10% of the farms is going to be so much greater. And the food count is just climbing like crazy as I begin to do this. Here he is with his crossbows. Still didn't click the arbalest upgrade, but I actually think the reason he didn't do that is because he wanted... I mean, he does almost have the resources, but I think he prioritized chemistry because bombard cannons are essential here. And he wants to push my castle. Now, it's quite nice that I don't need this castle for much except for control. So I start to make trebs out of this. He's got his crossbows camping here. And here I come with some light cav. Because with poles, it's about expanding with farms and hitting where they're not. That's pretty much it. That's what it seems like anyways. At least in these situations. And he's in a really good spot. However, as I still don't have the resources for Winged Hussar, which is unfortunate, I am going to clear up these crossbows. Still kind of thinking, like, where on earth is the arbalest upgrade for him? And I'm going to go in here, and I'm now going to take out these trebs. Now, at this point, I'm starting to get some relics, but I'm more importantly starting to expand the food eco. And I want to circle back to this conversation right now, because it's really interesting. It's not just the fact that poles get gold when they mine stone. That's cool. That's great bonus. But what it is if you need a certain amount of gold required at this stage of the game. Let's just say I need 233 gold. I needed less villagers on resources to get to that point, which means I can have a higher percentage of eco in other areas, right? So this eco balance is definitely not what I would consider fantastic. But I have 47 on food, when if I was going for this with any other civ, I'd probably need to have like 40 on food, because I'd need a bit more on gold. You catching my drift here? It's just interesting. Anyways, Winged Hussar isn't cheap, and I really wasn't at a spot for that. He's going to TC this gold here. He deleted that castle. He thought about that, which I think was smart. He also thought about the arbalest upgrade, which was smart. Now, if I had plate barding armor, these fights that are about to happen against the arbalest would be so much stronger. But I do not get plate barding armor with this civ, which is a little controversial, I think, to have a civ that's really good with cav, but take away the armor at the start. Like, I know they did that with Indians after a while, because Indians were real strong with their camels, but to start off with a new expansion civ like that was pretty crazy from the devs. Anywho, you can see I'm sending more vills to gold, but not really spending it, and I'm just trying to hold this position. And I've done a really good job at holding the position and not really fighting where he wants me to fight. And then meanwhile, it's just farms, 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 farms. Again, I'm not perfect with it. I'm sorry. You guys know that. I've been practicing. But I get through with the light cap. Now, this is just karma, because we're not really karma, but I deserve this because earlier he got knights into my eco. So the sad thing is, I think my light cap are on stand ground. No! Why? Well, it's just one wave in, one wave out. One wave in, one wave out. Constantly streaming units. Don't worry about the KD. KD doesn't matter. Just take away their units, take away their eco, and stream in more Hussars. They're not Hussars yet. Sorry, they're light cav. Oh, God, dude. Those light cav could have done so much damage. That's really frustrating to see. Anyways, this castle, this position, I was able to hold on to for a while. And finally, I clicked the Winged Hussar upgrade. So let's look at the stat difference. The light cav has 80 food, or not 80 food, 80 HP, 7 base attack. Rip to my trebuchets. And I think Winged Hussar gives you +2 base attack, and then also +20 HP. So it adds like an extra 5th to the unit. Sort of, kind of. Maybe 4th if you combine the attack upgrade. So yep, those are the Winged Hussars. Now, more and more farms coming up for me. Hopefully you're going to see my food count start spiking, because the unique tech gives them trample damage. And I really want that. It's crazy, man. I've got like this whole gold pile. And my resources are still looking high with gold. You just don't spend a lot of gold with this civ. Even their unique unit, if I were to make the unique unit, it's not really even that gold costly. I think it's like 25 gold. I was being a real greedy boy with the relics. Also, I was being a little sneaky over here with these villagers. But he's at that snowball position to try and kill me. And so what I say is, okay, you're not going to pressure me? You don't have the siege just yet? I'm going to go to your eco again. So I swoop in with hussars. I have 65 on food right now. Keep in mind that every time I add farms, I'm getting even more of a food boost. Food count is climbing. Winged hussars looking for a way in. And unfortunately, he has walled it off at this point. So I'm not really able to make it in. Now he's got 50 military. I do not get the final armor upgrade. So, I mean, hussars don't do all that well in this situation. The beauty of hussars, though, it's just a throwaway unit. It's not a gold unit. You don't have to worry about tossing away food units. And the beauty of the way this game is played out is that it's farms. Farms. Expanding, my specialty, right? Expanding with farms. And spamming units. It's kind of mindless, honestly. You just do the same thing. You don't have to tech switch. Just spam out of your stable. And I said, okay, let's see how this tech works. I did just get the unique tech, which gives me that trample damage. And now he's got quite a few arbalest. He's got 45 arbs. He has the siege. In my eyes, guys, I had 3 relics. Had 60 on food. I knew that I just needed to trade against the gold army before he mixed in any halberdiers. I think that's probably what he would want to do at some point. If I trade against his gold army before he mixes in halbs, he's in trouble because he's going to be switching into halberdiers without a lot to really back it up. If he does that, I go for my unique unit. If he does that, I go for cavalry. If he does that, I go for another unit, which would not be so vulnerable. Either way, I do have all the control at this point. I'm going to drop a castle over here. He says, one of my worst games 11, GG. And honestly, I think my exact response to him was same. That might not have made him feel too good. He actually said that the phone call ruined his rhythm, which is funny because his name is The Rhythm. And I think I said something like maybe don't have friends because then you won't get distracted. But I don't know. He didn't really get the joke. He didn't think it was funny anyways. GG. I could have played this Civ so much more to its potential. If you look over here, it wasn't so pretty. And maybe I'm just not the player to play the Poles to their farming potential. However, I think the key with Poles, and this is why I wanted to upload this. Some people are like, oh, 290 only uploads his wins. First off, that's not true. But second, I really like to upload games where I can talk about things. Even if the game itself wasn't necessarily like, whoa, crazy. I want to be able to break things down and talk about things. That way, you guys, we see a game from a week from now, you're like, oh yeah, T90 said that might happen. I understand what T90 is saying. So the thing I realized with Poles, now granted, this doesn't necessarily apply to the crossbow thing that was happening. Looks like he was going Vitória City over here with Portuguese. But you could do it with other units. But I think Poles are a civ that banks gold and uses mobility and tries to control the game and just tries to bank up that gold for an eventual killer blow. Like, let's say, as I was running around with these hussars, which only cost food, I have tons on food. Let's say this game's a little closer. I did a really good job here following this up with Trebs. Let's say I don't have that. Let's say blue has like 30 halbs. I've annoyed him. I've controlled him. I've kept him in his base with all the spam. I've expanded to the sides of the map, which is so easy to do when you're farm, raid. And then you're going to have so much gold. I mean, I still have all this gold to collect. I, of course, have a few relics. I still have gold here, which is my starting gold. I still have this gold, which is my third gold. This is crazy. You got 4 tiles plus 4 tiles. This is 8 tiles of gold that was mine. This isn't a neutral. That pretty much only worked through my main gold. And here we are. I mean, and what's great about the Civ is people are going to have to go halberdier against your winged hussar. If you're keeping them scrambling, you force a response. After you've gone farm crazy, after you spammed the winged hussars, and then you make the unique unit, which we didn't get to see here. But that was what I was thinking. I'm like, I mean, I've got the stone to make another castle. I'll have 2 castles now. I guess I just make my unique unit, which is a really strong infantry unit. So you guys tell me what you think. Again, this isn't necessarily the best game I've ever played or the best game with Poles. But I'm actually undefeated with Poles right now. It hasn't been pretty. I don't know why I'm undefeated with them. But it might have something to do with my beautiful farms. Tell me what you think about the Civ. I'm excited about it because it allows for players to play in a unique way. And it doesn't just apply to land maps either. I actually will have a upload tomorrow where Doubt plays with poles on a completely different map. And I kind of break down how the stone and gold bonus ends up working for him there or not working for him in some cases. So anyways, I'm excited about the poles. The Bohemians, I'm also going to have some fun games on. But what I've decided to do this week is I want to have this video is going to start it off where we start some real YouTube-only discussions on polls. And I was able to talk through my mindset in a game with this Civ and what I felt I could have done differently. Tomorrow is going to be Doubt's take or Doubt's gameplay with some polls in a different situation. And then I'm going to have probably one more where it shows a different aspect of polls. That's what I'm aiming for each and every time. This one showed the Winged Hussars. Maybe we see something else next. And then one after that will be a little different. And then we dive into Bohemians a bit. So anyways, I don't know if you guys watch my every single video. And you guys might be seeing this weeks or months or years after the fact. But I will have other videos about polls. And I will have other videos about the Bohemians. I do think the Bohemians are actually stronger. Truthfully, I think they're stronger than polls. But polls are more fun, which at least matters to me. I don't know about you. Guys, it has been a really crazy month for me. I'm in the process of getting ready for another move. Not moving too crazy. If you've been following my life, I'm still staying within the same city, but just landlord kind of a problem here and moving and other things. Prepping to go to Germany for an event in Age of Empires has just been really stressful. Apologies if maybe the quality of my commentary has not been as good. I really don't know. You'd have to tell me. Trying my best, and I just want to say I'm so thankful for you guys. For the support, and it's just so cool to see so many of you in the comments and all the views, and it's very motivating to see it. So thank you, and I'll continue to do my best to entertain you all and put you to sleep, whatever. This is crazy. I like this stat so much because it proves my point again. So you've got so I collected 3,300 stone in this game. Half of that I brought in gold as well. So quick math here. That's oh God, embarrassing. I need to be faster. Let's say 1,700 gold, right? That's 1,700 gold brought in from mining that stone. It's close to that. And then that allowed me, because I didn't need to have as many villagers on gold to get to this number because of that stone bonus. I was able to have my villagers doing other things, which was so important. I actually want to show you this. I watch my own games at times, and I look through this, and I'm almost always the slowest. Let's see. Oh, my God. Yes. Yes, we tied in eco, and we were ahead with... Oh, my God. I got to go tell my mom. I cannot believe this. Thank you.